If you feel your life is boring, like nothing dramatic is happening in your life, there is no high, there's no low, you're not ecstatic nor depressed, and you're just there, don't be too quick to fix it. This feeling of boredom is the key to a deeper spiritual awakening. It's the key to a deeper connection with your true self. For the last couple of years, that's where I find myself to be. Nothing much is really happening. I have a quieter social life because I was more withdrawn and I wanted more time to myself. My work, despite all my effort, has flatlined. There's no momentum, nothing is working. And I feel like I'm on this treadmill. I kept running, but I'm still stuck in the same spot. But what I realized is that this feeling of boredom is something that I need to embrace. You see, for my whole life, I've been searching for significance. And it's not about climbing the corporate ladder or trying to make more money. It's about finding significance in everything I do. Everything I do needs to have a deeper purpose. When I was an accountant, I knew instantly that this job wasn't for me in the long term because I don't like to do the same thing every single month. I don't like routine tasks. But ultimately, this mentality of searching for something more passionate, something more fulfilling, has caused a lot of suffering for me. Because what I realized is not everything needs to be significant or is significant. Even the most exciting job may have some routine or administrative tasks to do. And for our day-to-day life, we also have a lot of routines, right? Like we need to do the housework chores. We need to think what we have to eat for lunch and dinner and prepare them. Life for most part is just mundane. And it's not that exciting and full of adventure like you see on social media. When I reflected back on my life, I realized that I'm always living in the extreme. I know the highs, the joy, the passion, and had a moment of awakening. And I know the lows, the time when I feel depressed, shame, and experience the dark night of the soul. But what I tend to ignore or don't feel comfortable in is actually the middle. The place where it's more mundane, more peaceful, when there's nothing much happening, nothing dramatic happening. And I think that my mind kind of like to go to the more depressed and more victimized mode. Because that place has a lot more emotion, right? When I'm melancholy, I feel something. At least there is something to be felt. But when you are in the middle, you don't feel anything. You feel kind of empty. And that emptiness can sometimes be a bit unbearable. But after going through several rounds of awakening on my own, it's much harder to go back to that melancholy, depressed space because I can see what my mind is doing and I know that this is not who I truly am. So when you are not able to go to the low and you're not able to go to the high, what you're left with is this middle path. And this middle path that I'm currently in, I felt that this is the path that I need to embrace and need to learn how to accept the routines and the mundanes of my life. For so long, I've been trying to avoid this void by filling it out with something more interesting and exciting. But what I realized is this void is not to be fixed, it's not to be avoided, because it will keep us stuck in this trap of constant stimulation. You see, boredom is a result of the mind lacking in stimulation. And our mind is always craving for the next dopamine hit. It wants reward. It feels good to have a desire and get it, to go for an exciting adventure or do something interesting and exciting or achieve your dreams and goals. But this dopamine hit eventually wear off. It doesn't last long. And then we will need another desire to be fulfilled, another goal to be reached to feel this stimulation. But constantly feeding our mind with stimulation means that we are always being constantly led by the mind, not our spirit. After spiritual awakening, this dopamine hit still works, but you start to realize that all these goals and achievement is just an illusion. If when your mind wants to get a desire and you dismiss it, that actually causes a lack of ambition, a lack of motivation, a lack of interest in your life. But here's the big misconception. When people had their spiritual awakening, they swing from one end to the other end, from constantly being stimulated by activities to not having any ambitions, goals, and interests. And that can lead to a feeling of apathy. The real challenge is not to find meaning in big, exciting moments. It's really about learning how to embrace the routine, mundane life without feeling frustrated or dissatisfied with it. How are, how are you going to feel when you don't reach your goals? And I'm not saying that you can't have ambition and goals, but ambition often brings us to a future state. It's that we need to reach that place in order to feel satisfied. But that only brings us to the future and makes us feel dissatisfied with the now. It doesn't bring us to the present moment, and it doesn't help us to embrace the present moment. I think what truly traps people is that they think that their life is a linear one from birth to death. So if they don't do something great or significant within this life, if they don't leave any legacy, they feel that they have wasted their life. But this attachment to significance is just another layer of the ego that we need to learn to let go of. What you do is actually secondary. Your alignment with source, your vibration is the most important. If you feel bored and you keep doing things to help you to fix the boredom, you'll find that you will infuse boredom in everything you do. But if you are connected with spirit, you come from a place of satisfaction or peace, then that's what you bring to the activities you do. So for me, this mundane, boring life has become a meditation practice for me. I intentionally choose to live a boring life right now because it's helped to train the mind. You see, my mind sometimes can be very restless, like a restless dog. It always wants something to chew on, some problems to solve, or looking for the next exciting thing. And if I don't give my restless dog, my mind, a bone to chew on, I could be spending too much time looking at other people's business, minding their business, trying to solve their problems. And my mind might create some dramas on its own. So I find it good to actually give my mind a bone. And this bone, this latest bone I gave my mind is to learn Japanese. But there isn't a big goal for this. I'm not moving to Japan. I don't communicate Japanese with my loved ones. I'm not planning to master this language, but I'm just giving my mind some routine fixed things to do, something to focus on. So I downloaded this app from the library, and every day I just spend 30 minutes repeating the Japanese phrases I learned. It's kind of routine and mundane, but it's like doing housework. You don't get into this overthinking mode. You just listen and repeat the phrases. And after 30 minutes every session, you stop. You don't overthink something. You don't try to solve a problem. And that is actually very relaxing for the mind. You see, when you're trying to search for the next desire or trying to get a constant stimulation, your mind actually gets very tired. I don't know about you, but when I'm like down the rabbit hole, I felt that I'm both mentally and physically tired. But when I'm doing something more routine, like just learning a language, it actually calm down my mind, relax my mind. And then when my mind is slowed down, that's where my creativity comes alive. That's where my spirit comes online. I remember the first time when I was spiritually awakened, I was just doing nothing. I was just sitting on the bench in the park. And then suddenly everything comes more alive. The trees, the flowers are more vibrant. It's when you slow down your mind, that's where your spirit, you'll be able to hear your spirit better. You will have a better sense of clarity. And you'll start to see things with your spiritual lens. And things can, the nature becomes more exciting. It's more fulfilling. It's fulfilling in another way. It's not a mental stimulation, but it's a soul fulfillment. We have become so impatient because of technology. We are always chasing for immediate answers. We want it now. But now is the time for slow, intentional activities. Stop chasing for the next big thing or stop searching for meaning in everything you do. And don't fix your boring life. Just give yourself time to receive the wisdom, to reflect on it, and then apply them to your life. Don't do something because it stimulates you. Just do something when you feel inspired to do so. And I think that's all I have for you today. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.